On this week's episode, we are going to be talking about things made for disabled people that also benefit the masses.
We're also going to be talking about things that benefit the masses, but can actually be especially helpful for disabled people.
Yeah, so stick around.
Hello and welcome to Rare with Flair,
The podcast where two best friends with the same rare disease are living our best lives. I am your host, Casey.
And I'm your host, Cassandra. Guys, we have big news.
Woo!
Big news, big news, big news, big news. Okay. Our very own Casey Greer. I was going to say your middle name, but, like, is that a secret?
Maybe that's, yeah.
Okay. Join our Patreon for Casey's middle name.
We don't have a Patreon. One. It's okay.
Anyway, so our very own Casey Greer just ran the very first 5K of her life. And I would say, even though I wasn't there, she crushed it.
Oh, well, thank you. I don't know if crushed is the right word, but I did it. I did do it.
She did it.
Listen, if you're a longtime listener or even just a listener for the past year and a half, you'll know I trained for this like 6 months last year. And then I got sick right before the big race, and it was very sad. And so I'm really, really actually so grateful that I got to actually do it this time.
Yay!
And I did it. And like, it almost feels surreal that I actually did it because I feel like it's been looming over my head now for a year and a half. And so really grateful for that.
This year has truly been like Casey's comeback year. Just take my word for it. And like, this is like one of the examples that, you know, it didn't work out for her to run last year, but this year she did it.
Yes, I did it. Thank you, friend. It was very good. And it's funny because Cass and I haven't even gotten to chat since I did it. So there's just so many details I even want to share with you later. But
it's so funny because like our weeks, because like beginning of December, it be like that. There's so much going on.
Oh my gosh.
We're super busy. And so we like squeezed in time to record because we love y'all. And we love this pod. Course. And like, so we like... we got on the phone and guys, it was as if we were like in a fight or something because we had the most bland conversation imaginable.
Because we knew if we had to record this pod and if we started talking, we would never stop. And that's the problem. So we were like trying not to ask each other about our weekends, which we normally do right away. So we could actually focus on what we're supposed to be doing. But it's very difficult.
It's really hard.
It's very hard to be recording and to not have caught up with you. Like, it feels weird.
I know.
However, I have a few other things. And, one other thing, and then we'll get... Okay. So, I know, Cass, you saw Zootopia 2.
I did.
In theaters. I did as well.
Zootopia, if you will.
Zootopia. I love that. This is not a spoiler. I mean, it spoils a tiny part of the movie, but I have to mention this tiny part of the movie because I hope you noticed that there is a scene where it's toward the very beginning of the movie where our two main characters,
I know what you're
Judy
gonna
and
say.
Nick, they're like pretending to be someone they're not to get through this security thing. Anyway, they're trying to make the security guard feel bad for them and pity them, and they have this child with them who's not actually a child, but they say, and he's legally blind.
Yeah. I was in the theater with my mom, and my mom was like, that's terrible. She was like, imagine all of the parents of young kids with albinism. Now people are not going to believe them because it was used in a heist.
Oh, man. Yeah, at a highest. Oh my God, it was so like funny to hear, and not just blind, legally blind.
Yeah,
like,
I know.
I was just like, oh my
Yikes.
gosh, hilarious. Yeah. Any updates from you? You want to share with the audience?
You know, have I done anything interesting?
You've been baking a lot.
I mean, yeah, I baked a lot around Thanksgiving. That was nice. Wait, did we not record an episode since Thanksgiving? No, I don't think we did. Oh my gosh, how was your Thanksgiving?
It was great. Thank you for asking. I spent Thanksgiving in Arkansas with my family and my boyfriend's family, and they got to meet.
We love Arkansas.
Arkansas.
Your Kansas.
It was very good. Was yours?
It was good. It was super chill. I hung out with my parents and we saw Zootopia. That's really what we did.
Amazing.
Yeah, and I baked a bunch, so it was fun. And I'm planning to bake next week for like a Christmas party. So we love the holiday baking.
Oh, the holiday baking is more excited than even regular baking.
Oh, I know, because that way I can put on like Home Alone in the background. It feels very festive.
Home Alone while baking is just a certain vibe.
Oh, it scratches a very particular itch.
It scratches a very particular itch. There's another amazing thing that happened a few days ago.
Oh my gosh.
Spotify Wrapped came out.
Guys. And we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk all about it. And y'all know, if you follow this pod for at least a year, you know that we typically end the year with like a year in review where we talk a little bit more personally about our lives and what we did in the year. And then we do an episode at the beginning of the year about our vision boards for
Oh my God, they're both so good. I love these episodes.
They make me so happy.
Yeah, they're really fun just because we love time and how it works and all of that.
But we will talk about like our Spotify Wrapped when we do our 2025 year in review episode. So hold off for that. But we want to shout out one of our listeners who has been a longtime loyal listener. And Right with Flair was her number one pod. And, did it make me tear up? Who's to say?
Yeah.
But
yeah.
But many, 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 many hours, like 37,000 hours listening to our show. Honestly, I could not be more honored.
Oh, so honored. Like, it was just this year, too. So it's probably even more than 37,000 hours, which we haven't even made 37,000 hours worth of content. But I know that this listener, Johanna, she tells us that she repeat listens to episodes as well. And so I think, Johanna, you may win our number one spot of who knows us. I think you know us better than we know ourselves at this point.
Absolutely. Like, you probably remember stories that we forgot we told. So
oh, yeah.
Look out for your number one VIP listener award.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you so much for the support to not only Johanna, but all of our listeners. And if anybody else had Right with Flair on their Wrapped, let us know. We'd love to hear it. Like, email us, Instagram us. We love to hear that.
And not just Johanna. We have had some listeners that I know have been here from the very inception of Right with Flair, and they have continued to be loyal listeners. And so, we're super grateful for all of you. And if you just discovered the show, of course, we love you too. And maybe we can be your number one show next year.
Of course. Even in the top 5 would make us smile.
Honestly.
So, but that's so great. Love it.
Yay. Thank you, Johanna.
Yes.
Okay. So this topic is near and dear to my heart because if you may not know, I work in the accessibility field. So basically I work for a major bank and I help basically the people who are building like the website and the app make sure that they build it with accessibility in mind at like a high level. It's complicated and it's like hard to describe, but basically I care a lot about accessibility for all kinds of folks with disabilities when they're using technology. And so accessibility is something I think about often, both like in my personal life and also in my professional life. So we came up with this idea for a show because I ended up making a presentation about topics just like this for work that Casey and I was asking her for ideas and we were going back and forth and talking about it, and we were like, boy, this would be such a fun thing to do on the pod.
It's so fun. I mean, it's one of those things. I feel like we say this a lot. We're a broken record. We've kind of mentioned it in other episodes. It's hard not to at least mention these things, but we have never done an episode like this ever. And it's kind of amazing actually too, after 5.5 years that we're still coming up with episodes we've never done, especially disability related episodes, because we really do try to keep the rare and keep the flair. And this is Cass's wheelhouse. This is her job. She is a professional. And so she really knows her stuff. And I'm very interested in this topic. I don't know my stuff like she does, but I'm here to help and to also chat about it with her.
Hey, and I feel like you, because you're plugged into the disability community, you know more than average, right? Like,
yeah. I would say so. I think, and also it helps being your friend because you talk about these things to me. And when you were coming up with your presentation, you were even like bouncing ideas off of me and kind of like, you sent me a list of things to look at. And so, yeah, just even like hearing you talk about it makes me more aware of when things are accessible or inaccessible. It makes me think of you every single time I'm frustrated on the internet.
Yes. And I'm so glad when you send me stuff like that, because sometimes these are things that, like, especially for us with low vision, there are like standards that exist on how to make the web sort of a more accessible place. They're guidelines, they're not laws, but a lot of them, they're constantly being worked on and rewritten, and like the groups that work on them are trying to add more stuff. And as of right now, those standards and guidelines don't really include a lot that touches on like low vision experiences. And so I think, even having you tell me stuff that you experience that as people with low vision, we kind of just get used to stuff after a while, right? Like, it's really helpful to bring that up to the surface and be like, you know what? Yeah, like this is a problem and we should, like, me in the position that I'm in, I'm always really happy to advocate for the perspectives of me and my friends with low vision.
Well, I think like our entire lives, we've learned to just adapt and deal even when things are not working for us. And even even the internet aside, just like our lives, like when we were little and we couldn't see something, sometimes we would just have to deal with that and not complain and just deal with it. And I feel like on the internet, I sometimes you just deal with things and then you actually step back and you're like, wait, that is kind of sucky. Like, why am I, And so I do think it's good to be aware of that. And,
it's so true. And a lot of people with disabilities can relate. It's not just low vision. I've sat in on like research sessions of people with a variety of different kinds of disabilities, whether they were more on the side of totally blind or if they had like mobility impairments. And, they get asked questions like, oh, how do you do this thing? And a lot of times they're like, well, I just don't. Or like, oh, well, I have someone else like help me with it. And then when they're asked to rate it on like a scale of like 1 to 5, they're like, it's like something that they cannot do at all. They're like, it's like a 3. Like they still have so much tolerance for error because having disabilities, we have to just tolerate a lot, which is
we have to tolerate a lot.
Is it like we have to, otherwise we'd be very angry, and it's good for our mental health to be resilient like that, just because otherwise we would do nothing, right?
That's so true. That's such a good point. And especially because we were born with it.
Yes.
That has literally been our normal forever. So we're kind of just trained to be like that. So yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. Do you want to get us started, since this is, you're kind of driving the car. I'm like in the passenger seat. I'm helping.
Beep, beep, vroom, vroom. Let's go.
Beep, beep. You're driving the car for once in your life.
Terrifying. Everyone should be very scared.
I'm the passenger princess.
You're my passenger princess. Okay. So
thank you.
There is a theory / effect that if you're in the accessibility space a lot, or even if you are newer to the space, you'll probably hear about. It's called the curb cut effect. Essentially what it means is that when you design for people with disabilities, you can actually benefit a huge wide group of people, not just folks with disabilities. And so it's named after curb cuts. So if you don't know what a curb cut is, it's like that very gentle ramp that takes you off of the sidewalk onto the street level and then back from the street up to the sidewalk. If you've seen like some older streets and curbs, they don't have this like gentle little ramp. It's just straight drop off into a curb. But curb cuts are extremely beneficial, and they were designed specifically to benefit folks that use wheelchairs. So if you use a wheelchair to get off of the street level and then back on, you can't really get back on the street level independently if you are in a wheelchair when there's just a full-on step. So these like little mini ramps make that safe and accessible, but it's not just beneficial for people who use wheelchairs. Like if you've ever rolled anything down a sidewalk, a stroller, a suitcase, a dolly, anything that has a wheel will benefit from this gentle slope, so you don't have to like drag it up the curb in a really unsafe way, or you could damage something by doing that. Like everybody benefits from curb cuts, but they wouldn't have happened if we didn't design them specifically to be used for wheelchair user safety.
Yeah, and you'd be shocked how many things are like this that are initially designed for the disabled that then it really benefits everybody. And so this is why it's important to kind of be accessible and design these things for disabled people, because at the end of the day, it really might make life easier for everyone.
Absolutely. Do you have any examples of the curb cut effect?
Sure. Well, so also we're going to go with one of the main, like one of the ones you hear about a lot is texting. So texting originally was invented for deaf people. And now
I feel like a lot of people don't actually know that.
Don't know that. Yeah, a lot of people don't know that. And now every single person almost texts. And it just goes to show. It just goes to show that that's a pretty big one, a pretty obvious one. But yeah, a lot of people don't know that.
I know. It's to me, it's super common knowledge because I've heard that for many years working in accessibility spaces. And I think because you're in the disability community.
Yeah, I only know it because I'm in the disability space. I only know that from being here, truly. Yeah.
I think I mentioned that.
Oh, they just introduced it with the phone.
Oh, right. Like, I think I mentioned that in a group setting at work with people who work in the accessibility field. And there were several people who were like, wait, I didn't know that. And I was like, yeah. It's crazy, but it's so important to remember the origins of these things as well, because sometimes, we don't want people with disabilities to be erased from these conversations, which can happen when things get widely adopted.
Definitely. And like, obviously, like texting for a deaf person is a lot easier than trying to talk on the phone and trying to hear someone on the phone, especially if they have zero hearing. But for situations where you're in a movie theater or you're in a meeting and you can't talk, like you literally can't talk, texting is paramount, or even if you can talk and you just would rather send a quick message and not have to like both be free to answer the phone at that moment. Like there's just so many reasons why non-deaf people would need texting, and those are just some reasons, but it can be so beneficial for everyone. And I think that's very obvious because most people use texting. So
yeah, absolutely. Another one that feels pretty obvious is like elevators, like if you've ever tried to carry something heavy upstairs, like, it's just not possible. Or if you've ever gone abroad and have been somewhere very old where they didn't put in an elevator, trying to carry all of your bags up the stairs is kind of a nightmare, but it is completely impossible for people who have mobility impairments.
Absolutely. But it really, think about I did live in a building without an elevator in New York, and it was trying to move in and move out was rough.
Oh my gosh.
And so just the help that an elevator can give when carrying really anything, truly, like, honestly, it's just amazing. Yeah. Especially if you're in, what if it's like a 30, story, I couldn't think of the word story, like a 30-story building. Like you'd have to walk that many stairs. That's just, that is even if you can walk, really should you? You? Do
you really want to walk 30 stories?
Do you really want to do
I
that?
don't think so.
After about 5 stories, I'm done,
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll keep going down the list. So vegetable peelers, and Cass, you might know more of the history behind some of these, but I know vegetable peelers can really help people with like any kind of mobility issue with their hands and things like that. But obviously everyone loves a vegetable peeler. Who doesn't?
Right. So the originally vegetable peelers were designed in a way that wasn't very ergonomic, and they were pretty tough to use for anybody, but you know, if you didn't have something like arthritis, you could kind of get by. But if you've heard of OXO, they make a lot of like really good ergonomic kitchen gadgets. I actually am a big fan of OXO, and they're very easy to use products. Non-spawn, but just personally as someone who cooks a lot.
Yeah.
Anyway, so OXO developed a vegetable, the founder of OXO before the company existed, developed a vegetable peeler. I believe the story was like he made it for like his wife who had arthritis. And it was ergonomically designed, and everybody found it way more comfortable to use, especially people that struggled with joint pain. And so that design sort of became more of the dominant design for vegetable peelers, which is really awesome.
There you go. It literally just goes to show if people put more effort into making things accessible, it helps everybody. Yeah. It's amazing, actually, how that works. Seriously. It's pretty amazing.
It's so cool. And this is the thing, and this is what I try to talk about when I'm at work, is that sometimes when you put up parameters, like when you put boundaries of, well, it has to be usable by these people and those people, and sometimes it can feel overwhelming. But if you put boundaries on anything, it actually helps like frame the problem better. So when we think about making something usable for a subset of people, it actually really helps better define the problem and the solution.
Yes.
And a lot of times that ends up creating something just generally better for everybody.
Absolutely. And I don't want to go too off topic, but like, even with, we have a rare disease, a lot of people would say, why would you study a rare disease? Why would you study a disease that only affects, under this amount of people? Well, studying rare disorders can help you cure common disorders. If you study a rare disease and you find a cure, it could cure like diabetes, something huge, something way bigger than that. So you never know when you're trying to research for a smaller group, you never know what it could do for the larger population.
I think that's a really good example, because that kind of is exactly what the curb cut effect does. You design for a small group and you benefit a big group. Yeah, and that is just, it's like scientifically true, and there's still more on the list to prove it. So audiobooks were really originally made for the blind. Blind folks obviously can't read printed words, especially if you're totally blind. And Casey recommended a book to me, Their Plant Eyes. Oh yeah, So like that is a really good book if you're interested in like a nonfiction sort of history of blindness. The author goes into pretty deep details about how things were invented, like Braille and different kinds of raised print. And like, yes, Braille was invented a long time ago, but it did take quite a while for something like that to exist. And so in order for blind people to benefit from literature at all, they would get read to. And so then something like audiobooks started because like we want to give blind people better access to like printed materials. And so like everybody loves audio. Well, not everybody. Some people are audiobook haters, but we won't talk about them. Everybody loves audiobooks. Yes, we think everyone should love audiobooks. Audiobooks are also obviously very helpful for people with dyslexia, people with any kind of learning disability, people with even like severe ADHD who have a hard time focusing when they're reading. And then also, even if you don't have any kind of learning disability or any kind of vision impairment, people just be loving audiobooks. You know why? You can drive your car. We can't drive, but you can drive your car while reading. You can do your laundry. I can sit in a rideshare while reading. Yeah, exactly. Sit in a rideshare while reading. You can walk your dog while reading. You can multitask. And Cass and I, we love multitasking. It's like we're good at it. We're fans of it. We love multitasking. So, like, it's just, my sister, like, she has a long commute to work every day. She loves putting on an audiobook. And I think it's even becoming more popular
even with the internet, I've noticed over the last 10 years, like people are audiobook people, especially because you can now get it on your phone. I feel like when audiobooks used to be only accessible through like CD or tape, it was harder to get them and they were expensive. And they're still pricey, you know, depending on where you get them. But if you can have them on your phone, especially through like a library app, it's the best.
We did a whole episode about like reading and various accessible ways of reading with low vision like a couple of years ago now, 2-3 years ago. So I'll link that in the show notes as well. But we be loving the audiobooks.
Oh, loving the audiobooks. Another thing, similar to texting but different, subtitles. Subtitles were initially made for deaf people to be able to enjoy movies and television and such. And so many people, now I'm not one of them because I can't see, but so many people love subtitles. And in fact, a lot of people who can hear perfectly enjoy having subtitles on. It just helps them to follow the show better. It helps them to understand. They're able to focus. And they really, really like having them on. I know so many people who use them all the time.
I am actually one of those people. I actually really like having subtitles on.
Okay.
And I don't know. I feel like it just became a comforting thing. And occasionally I'll glance at them because I find them really interesting. I can't read them and follow along. And if there's like a whole movie in a different language, I cannot follow because I can't read that quickly. But I like having them on, and my parents, English is their second language. And subtitles are really beneficial for anyone for whom English is not a primary language, where, like, anytime we would watch some kind of, like, British drama, like Downton Abbey growing up, we would always turn on the subtitles because different accents are really hard to hear sometimes, especially if you aren't used to hearing them and English is not your first language.
No, I mean, that's a great point because it is a great tool when you're learning a new language too, to put on that language and then put on that language's subtitles too, so you can actually see what words are being said instead of just hearing it. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so it's helpful in many ways, once again.
So in addition to other, I'm trying to make a good segue, like printed words. Nope, I don't know. Something that a lot of people benefit from, but was made for the disabled, is text dictation. So if you have a mobility impairment and typing is really challenging, you can dictate. And there are features on your phone that you could turn on to like completely operate your phone with just your voice. On Apple, it's called voice control. But even just like being able to dictate a text really quickly is really beneficial for a ton of people. Blind folks who don't have to fiddle with the screen reader and type individual words, people with mobility impairments, like I said, but even like people in a rush. I have a friend who like all of her texts say sent with Siri, and she does not have like a vision or mobility impairment.
One of my best friends, Ashley, I kind of give her crap for it. I shouldn't, but I kind of just laugh at her that she's like, it's just funny. She only ever texts like that with the dictation. She like says her text aloud. And you know, some people love that. I kind of joke with her that she's an old lady, but but in reality, but just because I feel like typically it is something older people use for those reasons, right? You know, but in reality, it is an awesome tool, and I'm so glad it exists. And like, it's funny because I get to hear what she's saying to other people aloud. It's like not a secret. Like she's like, yeah, I'll go get the milk at the grocery store. I'm like, who are you talking
right in front of you.
And then we're blind, so we think they're talking to us, you know, when
like,
people
what?
are doing that. I'm like, what? And she's like, I'm not talking to you. I'm like, oh, sorry. So anyway, but no, obviously, like, it is something that people, I mean, even like, you know, another great time, my dad and a lot of people use it a lot while driving. So
while driving,
they'll be like, Siri, text Casey that, you know, whatever, while they're driving.
I'm on my way. Yeah.
Yeah. It's way safer than not. So yeah.
I've even dictated some texts like while I'm walking to the gym. It's the same kind of deal of like, I can't really stop and look at my phone, but I can quickly send the message I had been meaning to send all day at the time that I remembered to do it.
I accidentally dictated a text during my race yesterday, and it was very embarrassing, and I'll have to tell you about it later. Okay, so the last one on this list, and we say this list because we do have another list, don't you worry, is image alt text. So on different websites, or a lot of times you'll see it on social media, but it could be anywhere on any kind of website. You will have image alt text where there is an image and the text says what is on the image. This was originally made for blind people to be able to know what images they're looking at, especially on a website like Instagram where it's mostly images. But it really could be helpful to anyone, especially if you are a little confused about what you're looking at, if you have any kind of like processing issue with looking at images, or if you just want some more detail in a different way. It can be really helpful.
Yeah. So if you don't know, boy, how does a totally blind person use the internet? There used to be individual softwares, but now a lot of times they come built in with, your phone's operating system, or it's like in your phone settings, you can turn it on, and it's called a screen reader. And basically you can use different gestures on your phone. You can do this on a computer too, but trying to make it simple. So on your phone, you can like swipe left and right, and it moves the focus of this screen reader, and it reads out the content on the screen. So if you're totally blind, just like Kay said, you can't see an image. And so this is something I do a lot at work, is like I work with the designers who are putting in images, and we talk about like, okay, what purpose does this image serve? It's not like on something like Instagram, it's like what's in the image and how can we describe it? We have alt text on our videos, right? If you follow our Rare with Flair account, you'll see like video description. But if you are like putting in images on a website, you need to describe like the image's meaning. So, if it's like a little pencil icon, we don't want to just say pencil icon if what it means really is edit, right? So like we need to describe the meaning of the image, or if it's just decoration, leave it out. You don't really, like screen reader user doesn't really need to know that it's decorative, right? Mm-hmm. So alt text is super, super, super important. But if you're on a website and you have bad connection, you won't get an image because it takes more of your internet to basically load that image. What you'll get is alt text. And so it's really important for you to have alt text for the meanings of your images, because in situations like natural disasters where people don't have access to reliable internet, or even if just people live out in rural areas and they don't have reliable internet access, a lot of times what they'll end up just seeing is the written description of what that icon or image is. So it's really important for us to like put in a good meaning for an image, because it can benefit far more than people who can't see the screen at all.
That's fascinating. I had never thought about that. I mean, this is why you're here. You're the expert in this, but like, more than me, but I had never even thought about that.
I actually heard crazy. A story from someone who works at my firm who is Puerto Rican, and he was talking about how the alt text images were extremely helpful during Hurricane Maria, where a lot of people's like internet was very, very, very spotty. And so like it really does have potentially life-saving implications to have good alt text on your images.
Amazing. Oh my gosh.
Accessibility is so cool, guys.
It is so cool. And actually, so we have spent this first half of the episode talking about things that were made for disabled people that benefit the masses. But we told you at the beginning, we're going to also talk about the opposite. And this is what Cassandra presented on at work. Things that were made for the masses, but really end up helping disabled people. Kind of the opposite, but very related.
I like to call this like secret assistive technology, because
I like that.
Like, it was not made for us specifically, but what we're doing is, and so like a big part of the introduction of me talking about this topic is like, sometimes if you end up acquiring a disability, like the thing that you need doesn't really exist, or it's really expensive, because a lot of times assistive technology that's super specialized costs a lot of money, or there's like just a smaller market share for it than something that's more commonplace like baby products, right? There's a lot of moms and a lot of babies out there. And so there's constantly innovation in that space. But for assistive tech for people with disabilities, yes, there are a lot of people with disabilities out there. But the amount of people with disabilities that can pay for these assistive techs is a lot smaller. And so there's less innovation in that space. So what can you do when that thing that you might need to help you doesn't really exist? You can try to take what's around you and sort of like hack it or force it to work for your purposes. I called this presentation like square pegs and round holes. And I basically had pictures of the examples of the things, but as I just had pictures of like hacked up square pegs that were fitting sort of unintentionally, but fitting into the round holes. So like
that's cool. Yeah.
You can kind of force it to work, and sometimes it ends up maybe working a little bit better than something that would be more specialized. So like,
do you want to go with the first one?
Yeah. First example is very, very broad, but like GPS. Everybody uses it. It was initially designed for military uses, and then it became commonplace. But who really, really, really benefits from GPS is blind people. If you give a blind person directions and you're giving them landmarks, that's not really going to help, because even us with vision impairments, we may not be able to reliably find those landmarks. And like depending on the brightness in the day and how big they actually are. So something with turn-by-turn directions can help us get around more safely and confidently without having to, purely rely on landmarks alone.
1,000%. Because, like, let's say we're looking for, like, a Chili's.
Yeah.
Instead of, like Cass said, instead of trying to find the building of Chili's, you can zoom in on the map and see where it is on the map, which is, like, so much more helpful than seeing it in person. And just, the turn-by-turn directions. I mean, it is absolutely remarkable. I think GPS is remarkable for everybody, but especially if you're blind. Like, I don't know how I would get around with just, like, having to just look, like, it would be so much worse. Another one that we love to talk about. As kids growing up, we were given a lot of magnifiers. We were given a dome magnifier. We were given probably a CCTV. We were given binoculars. All those things are still nice. But Cass and I always say, instead of having like 5 different products in your bag at all times, now it's incredible that we have our phones. Whether you have an iPhone, an Android, any kind of smartphone, it is the phone camera, using that as a magnifier. Now, the phone has a built-in magnifier too, which is awesome. But a lot of people use this hack of using the phone camera as a magnifier, which the phone camera was never meant to be used as a magnifier. But something I love about it specifically is like, let's pretend, I'm not a mom, but I feel like if I were a mom, this would come in handy a lot. But let's pretend I'm watching my nephew, like, play football. I think back in the day, like, using a magnifier to do that is fine, but it would look a little like, oh, that's a little odd looking, But if I, like, have my phone out and I just zoom in on him, it just looks like I'm taking a video like anybody else. Like, no one knows what I'm actually doing. It just looks like I'm taking pictures or taking a video, which every other mom is doing. But really, I'm, like, zooming in to see him. And like I said, it's just easier than having all these other tools in your bag all the time. You always have your phone with you, so you can just whip it out and use it as a magnifier. I also sometimes use it to read, like, medicine bottles or, like, microwave instructions or that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and, like, yes, Casey said that the phone often has a built-in magnifier, and that is what I talked about in my talk, because they only made the phone camera magnifier because people were using the camera so much as a magnifier that especially Apple, they just kind of developed something, but it's still the same thing. It just makes use of your phone's camera, and in fact, I find it better than the phone camera in most cases because it stabilizes the image better and faster to use it for that. Because with the camera, it's always trying to, like, adjust the light so that you get a better photo. But here you're not necessarily trying to take a photo, you're just trying to see. And there's a lot of really great features about it now. It's continued to be improved upon, where you can turn on your phone's flashlight, and that's how like I'll read a menu in a really like kind of dimly lit restaurant. Or one of my very, very favorite things about the phone camera magnifier is the front. You can't zoom in on like a selfie, but you can zoom in on the front facing camera magnifier, and like that is how I do my makeup.
Yeah.
Like full stop. No, that's how I do my makeup. And it's also like a really, really helpful if you don't wear makeup, like you've definitely had something stuck in your teeth before.
Yeah.
And using the front facing camera zoom to see like, okay, yes, I found the spinach in my teeth. Like that is invaluable peace of mind.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I have a guide dog, if you didn't know. And it's really hard to carry a purse and have a guide dog at the same time, because I never have enough hands. And I think like, Case, you don't have a guide dog, but you often use a cane, and you understand the not having enough hands.
Oh, not having enough hands. It's the worst.
It's the worst. And like,
you always have one less hand.
Yes.
Than you need.
It's frustrating. I wish I had 3 hands, but that's not socially acceptable, and none of my clothes would fit. So, like, I would wear backpacks, and I had a friend tell me that it wasn't very chic to wear a backpack, and I was like, oh, okay. So I was trying to find a solution that was both chic and hands-free. And I've used little mini purse backpacks, but especially having a guide dog, like I need more space. And I also, carry around a big Awala because I always need water with me for other chronic health reasons. And so I'm like, I need something that benefits us both. The ultimate solution is the diaper bag. I'm not a mom, but...
You're a mom of Anaheim.
I'm a mom of Anaheim. And... it's so awesome, you guys. Like, I cannot tell you. So I sprung for like a cute one. I wanted a cute one. Of course, you could get like a cheap diaper. I really like my diaper bag, and it's so cute. I get so many compliments on it. Yesterday, I got like dinner with a bunch of friends for someone's birthday, and I walked in, and a friend of a friend was like, "Oh, that's such a cute bag," and I'm like,
"It's a beautiful bag, yeah."
It's a diaper bag, and it's awesome because the straps, like, it's meant for ergonomic uses. Like, the straps are padded, right? Because moms need all the help they can get, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's got, like, a side pocket that's, like, insulated. It's meant for a bottle, but, like, sometimes I'll just throw small things in there.
Sure.
There's tons of space inside, so I can carry a ton. Like, Casey watched me use this in real time when we were in Universal together.
Yes.
And, like, the amount of things that I can fit in that bag is just astronomical. I had, like, mine and Anaheim's raincoat. I had my belt bag, my water bottle. Oh, shoot, what else? I had Anaheim's booties. Some, like, lights for him to wear at night because, like, as a black dog, he absolutely vanishes in the dark. So it was really helpful to have so that people didn't smoosh him. We talked about that in our episode. But, like, I had like, instant coffee. I felt like a mom. Like, truly, I felt like a mom. I was so prepared, and I had so much space.
Yeah, it's so useful for not just moms, but anyone who needs to carry a lot of things and has one less arm like we do.
And if you want to look cute, it does not hurt.
It's very cute. It is. Next is the Dyson vacuum, which, Cass, I know we're going back and forth. This is a little more you specific, but you have showed me how the Dyson really helps you. You might be able to explain it better, because Cass recently got a Dyson vacuum, and it is so cool, and it has a really cool feature that helps the visually impaired, shockingly. I don't know. I mean, it's meant for everyone, but it really helps us a lot.
Yes. Okay. So I got the Dyson vacuum of my dreams, and they're very much an investment, but I have dogs, and so, like, it comes in super handy, and I don't like sweeping the floor. It is, like, the most visually challenging thing ever, and
Oh,
like
I
I
hate
can
it. It's my
I
least
can
favorite.
literally never keep track of my little dust pile because I
No.
can't see it. Like
No, I can't see it. Mm-mm.
So like I got this Dyson vacuum. I'd been saving up for it. I was really excited. It was on sale. And it's cordless and it comes with this head that illuminates. So when you turn it on, it shines this green light and it will illuminate the dust on your floor. So like when I first got, like I had seen that existed, but when I first got it, I like turned off all the lights and I turned on my vacuum. And guys, I don't really know how to explain to you the revelation that came over me because every time my mom would come visit, she would tell me like, respectfully, your floors are gross. And I was like,
and you're like, I can't tell.
Who cares, Mom? I can't see it. Like,
right,
it's also,
right.
it's my mom. What am I, you know?
Right.
So, like, oh my gosh. It's crazy because, like, I know that when they're clean, like, it won't illuminate anything. And so it's so wild. And it's helpful for everybody so that you can see the dust on your floor even. But guys, I would never feel motivated to clean my floors, and my floors have never been cleaner now because this was the revelation that I needed.
She showed it to me on FaceTime. It was crazy. I wish we could even describe it in a way like it's like indescribable until you actually see it. It's
like so satisfying to like clean because it's just a vacuum.
I could see dust for the first time in my life.
I know, it's scary. That stuff is around us all the time.
Oh, it's scary. Yeah, that's actually one of those things we're glad we can't see all the time, but you know, like it's amazing.
But like, you know, not to say like run out and buy a fancy vacuum, but it's just those things that, you know, they didn't think of low vision people when they made this tool. They really were just trying to help everybody. But for someone like us that we would never see this on our own, this became assistive technology. This is why like this section is hidden assist or secret assistive tech because you know, it ended up helping us more than probably the creators ever thought.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So
I don't know I don't know who's next.
I know. It's hard because I feel like this one you have a controversial take, so I will take it just so that you don't have to pretend to be interested.
It's okay. And then I think you take the next one and I'll take the next because of reasons.
Of reasons. Yeah. All right. We got this.
We got this.
When technology was developing originally, like the very first computers were just like lines of green text on a black background and you would just type stuff in. But when they started making LCD screens or even like pre-LCD screens, so like they started creating windows and things on computers that you would be able to visualize, like a graphic interface is what it's called. So you'd be able to visualize not just using like commands on text, but be able to see in 2 dimensions like what your stuff looks like. A revelation of technology. When this was developed, the easiest way to do it with the technology that they had was to make anything that was lit up white. So that's why all of our interfaces for the most part is like white with black text on top of the white. And so it wasn't until technology continued to evolve and LEDs kept happening, whatever, you don't have to follow me, but just trust me that as technology developed and evolved, we didn't have to make things look like that anymore. We had more options with how technology and the windows on our computer screens looked. And that's when dark mode came into the forefront. And I think, I don't want to speak for like all low vision people, but I at least know that, you know, a lot of software developers, they like 70% of them, I think, prefer dark mode over the regular kind of light mode, if you will. Because if you're staring at a computer screen for a really long time, it gets more fatiguing to stare into like bright white pixels in your eyeballs all day. And so like if you're a developer, you're creating code for some software, you're going to be on your computer a lot, and it's helpful to have something that's a little bit darker that still has good contrast, that you can still see the screen. But for a lot of folks with light sensitivities or low vision, dark mode, I mean, speaking for myself, is by far the way that I like to look at the screen. However, Casey has other thoughts.
You know what's weird, Cass?
Yeah.
I haven't even realized this. I just realized my phone is on dark mode right now. And I haven't even noticed it. I don't even know how long it's been like that. I'm okay with it on my phone. I hate it on my Kindle. Like, if I'm reading for a long period of time.
Yeah.
Like, on the phone, I don't really care because I'm not reading for that long. But on the Kindle, I don't like it. I don't know. I'm the weird one because I would say 90% of people I talk to with albinism prefer dark mode. It's like almost harder for me to see for some reason, but I think that's a me problem.
White on black versus black on white. If you don't know what we're talking about, right?
Right. So I remember though, even as a kid with the CCTV, that was an option, and they were like really telling me that to do it and that I'd probably like it. So yeah, no, it's a pretty incredible thing for many people. I don't know if it's my favorite thing, but I have a controversial take.
Hey, but at least you like it to some extent. You don't completely hate it. This is a new revelation for you.
I know. Look at me. I see its reasoning. Like I see the purpose. I do. Okay. I don't mean to take over, but I was the one to come up with these examples for my presentation, and so a lot of them are like personal to me. Personal to you. But I'm coming in hot with the next one, so it's okay.
I know. I'm very excited to hear your take. And the one, like, your next one after that is very much you. So, okay. For a lot of folks with a variety of different chronic illnesses, hydration is a struggle. So if you have some, like, POTS, I don't have POTS, but people with POTS can struggle with staying hydrated for a huge number of reasons. And so people with POTS, it's like basically what happens is that when you stand up or you change positions, so go from sitting to standing, or just move really quickly, it can cause your heart to kind of go nuts, and then it speeds up so much that you end up passing out. And so a lot of people with POTS benefit from having like extra sodium in their diet. I have other chronic illnesses, and for those who have followed this pod for a bit, I just knocked something over. For those who followed this pod for a bit, I have an ileostomy, which basically means that I don't have a colon and I have an ostomy bag. And your colon does a really important job of filtering out water so that you stay hydrated, and I don't have one of those. So I need to drink more water than the average person because I lose it really quickly. And so electrolytes were really mostly developed for athletes, things like Gatorade and Powerade and whatnot. But they have sort of taken over the chronic illness community by storm because we really, really need the supplements that electrolytes give us. Not just the sodium, but usually it comes with like extra potassium and zinc and other vitamins that are really beneficial for us to just keep functioning, even though our bodies are a little bit abnormal. So I'm a big electrolyte fan, and I'm always talking them up to basically any of my chronically ill friends.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. They're so helpful to everyone, but especially to people with chronic illness. Like can be a lifesaver in many ways. Literally. And anytime you're feeling bad, it's not a bad idea to just, pop an
electrolyte.
Yeah. The next one is permanent bracelets, which Cass added to the list not only because of me, but she knows I have them, and she asked me for a picture of my permanent bracelet to add to her presentation.
Thank you very much.
So permanent bracelets are what they sound like. It is a bracelet that is like basically soldered onto your arm, and it's permanent. They're typically little, so you don't really feel them. But obviously that can be very helpful for anyone with a mobility need that cannot put on a bracelet themselves. Putting on bracelets can be hard, especially if they clasp and there's like a hook involved. And even for blind people too, sometimes like finding the hook visually can be rough, or just taking it on and off and remembering to do that. So a permanent bracelet, really, it was not made for disabled people. It was just made as a new fad, and a lot of people get them who aren't disabled. So it's one of those things, like, it wasn't originally made for us, but it also can be really like beneficial, and you automatically look a little put together without actually doing anything because it's there already. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And that's exactly what I had like said in my presentation, but also like I was just thinking about it. I think anyone who's ever tried to put on anything besides a bangle like knows the struggle of putting on a bracelet. Even like able-bodied people. If you've ever even like asked a man to put a bracelet on your arm, they like nothing tests their patience more.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was thinking even somebody with one arm. There are plenty of people with one arm. It would be very hard because you kind of have to have two hands. But even if you have two hands, it's still hard. So
it's still really hard to put on a bracelet, y'all. So like, just like you said, you can always look put together if you either can't put a bracelet on yourself, or if, you have a lot of joint pain and it would be really challenging to, or physically painful. It's just nice that like looking put together doesn't have to come at the luxury of being able-bodied.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay, so adjustable lighting is one of my favorite things. And so the way I kind of pitched it in my presentation is that like mood lighting does not just have to serve an aesthetic purpose. Mood lighting is for everybody, and especially for people with any kind of light sensitivity, or, if you struggle with migraines, right? Like,
absolutely,
light can be a huge, huge trigger for migraines, especially really bright lights. So my whole house is very mood lit. I have just a lot of little light sources everywhere that are either sort of dim or adjustable in lighting. And so it's nice because when people are over, or if I really need like some task lighting to really see what I'm doing, like in the kitchen, I got like under cabinet lights that were like on Amazon, and is really, really helpful so that I can like see what I'm trying to do in the kitchen. But honestly, most of the time, like my house is very like kind of dimly lit, and I prefer it that way because it's just so much easier for my eyes to not have to constantly be on high alert.
100%. I would way rather have on a lamp than the big light.
The big light.
I love Christmas time because my tree is just the perfect amount of beautiful mood lighting. It's perfect. Like having it on. I like had it on yesterday while watching TV, and it's like not too much where it overpowers the TV, but it's just like there. So yeah, like obviously mood lighting wasn't made for people with disabilities, but as people with photophobia, especially, like the full lights can, be really painful for us sometimes.
Really painful.
And it's just so nice to have a dimly lit area, or to have lights on on a switch where you can, I don't have these, but where you can like move the knob and it gets brighter and darker, and those are really cool.
You can get a dimmer for basically any light switch for not that much money at Lowe's. I ended up doing that when I replaced my light fixture in my dining room. I got like a dimmer for it because it's really helpful to have it be adjustable. Yeah,
it's so cool. Definitely. The next one of my favorite things in the world that I use every day is e-readers. So once again, e-readers were made for everyone. They weren't made specifically for people with disabilities, but I think something that's incredible about them is how much they allow people with vision impairment who do have enough vision to read print to be able to actually read a book visually. I cannot read print books. I mean, if I really struggled through it, I probably could, but it would be such a struggle and such a headache to be able to
literally
to be able to completely customized. I mean, you can do light mode, dark mode. You can pick the font. You can pick the boldness. You can pick the size. You can pick so many different things, and to be able to completely customize it to just suit your eyes. I even love on the newer Kindles, they have like a warm light option. That's my very favorite, where it's like instead of the blue light, it's like a warm amber light. It's beautiful on the eyes. Like it just feels so good on my eyes. And I think like it could be helpful for a lot of people too, just if you have any kind of like chronic pain or issues with your muscles or something, to not have to hold up a heavy book, to hold a smaller device in your hand. I think it's great. And then I also, you can buy separately like a page turner with like a clicker. I have one. It's awesome. I don't always use it, but for people especially with any kind of joint pain or any kind of mobility stuff, who just needs to just click to turn the page, super cool. So yeah, wasn't made specifically for it, but man, it helps so many people. It really does.
It's crazy because like, yes, you know, I think everyone who could potentially read a physical book would often prefer a physical book because of the feeling and the sensory experience of it all, and the smell and whatever. But, but most people, or like a lot of people with disabilities, just can't. And they would love to, but they can't. And so something like a Kindle was really more created for, you know, the sheer convenience of not having to carry around a ton of books, which are pretty heavy. Like physical books are pretty dang heavy. And
even just owning, like you can own 1,000 Kindle books. Owning 1,000 real books would be a lot of space and a lot of like wasted paper. Not wasted, but you know, I mean.
But even so, like it takes the I don't know, it takes the inability to read a physical device at all. Like if you, I think it also has like dyslexia friendly fonts, right? If correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, so, I think so. I think it is helpful for people with dyslexia.
Even for like learning disabilities or any kind of print disability, you could read easier than even a physical book.
I think so.
That takes,
you can just really customize it.
Literally, like it takes people who maybe could read under the right conditions to allowing them almost full access, which like if that's not accessibility, I do not know what is.
I'm just truly so grateful it exists, and I'm glad it benefits a lot of people, not just disabled, but like I'm so glad that it does, because I think if it only benefited disabled people, I don't think it would be as easy to get, or you know, like it would be one of those really
as like cost effective. Like e-readers are fairly cost effective, but like imagine if this was just for low vision folks. That would cost like $1,000.
Yeah, it would, and then there wouldn't, all the books wouldn't even be available on it. You know,
no, right? Like it would have half the features that it has.
Yeah. It's and that's unfortunate, but it's the truth of it. And so
it's just how it works, right? Like the market share of folks with low vision is significantly smaller.
It's all about the money.
Yeah, I know. But it helps drive innovation, so we got to be honest with ourselves.
Oh yeah, so we're grateful for it.
It's awesome. And like I'm also asked Casey for a picture of her Kindle so that I could use it in my presentation, since like this was actually like her contribution to this presentation, because I knew that audiobooks were part of the curb cut effect list of things that got developed for people with disabilities, but e-readers were just meant for convenience, and they benefit disableds so much. The last thing on my list is like high fidelity earplugs. So if you are old, or even if you are young and you want to protect your hearing, if you're going to loud environments like concerts, which I highly recommend that you do, you can get high fidelity earplugs that don't completely block out the sound. So you can still enjoy the music if you're going to a show, but you're not putting your ears at high risk. And so hi-fi earplugs are really, really great for basically anyone who's going to go to some kind of loud environment. And that could be honestly anything. But I've seen some of the marketing for this shift slightly. Like, of course, that is their primary purpose. But it's actually really, really helpful for any kind of sensory overload. So the example that I gave when I was doing this presentation talking about these earplugs is if you've ever been to a club, clubs are very overstimulating places. They're very, very loud. They have tons of lights. The bass is so cranked up that there's vibration. Like, it's a lot. So I'm not one much for clubbing. Like, I've done it before, but, you know, I don't have a lot of friends that are into that. And so it's just like an experience that I have to be kind of ready for. But if I am at a club, which isn't that often, I cannot hear my thoughts.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And I'm not someone who really struggles with sensory overload, but, like, that is just an extremely overstimulating environment. And so
oh, yeah.
I always have my little loop earplugs in my belt bag because it's just kind of helpful to have for whenever. And they're very, very small, so it's easy to just tuck them in your bag. And I have 100% pulled out my loop earplugs and put them in during, like, a club environment. And I was just like, oh my gosh, I can hear myself think. Oh, what a relief, guys.
Oh, yeah. Like, obviously, it protects your hearing, but really just for the sensory overload of it all. And plenty of people with autism or sensory issues use and love these. I remember when I was, like, in elementary school, and this was before autism was really talked about much, you know, not nearly as much as it is now. And I knew a kid with autism, and he wore, like, headphones all the time. Yeah. With no music playing in them, just to, like, for the sensory overload of, like, to cancel out the noise. And I remember, like, I was really young and I didn't know anything about autism, so I didn't really understand it. But now I do. And I know many people benefit from, like, canceling out the noise where you can still hear. It's not completely canceling out the noise, but just it gets overstimulating. And even for blind people too, like, I feel like sometimes we're more in tune to our hearing. Not that our hearing is better. We're just more in tune to it. We rely on it more. So it's just like that can get really overwhelming. I think we get overstimulated visually so easily that we don't need our hearing also overstimulated at the same time, or it's just like a recipe for disaster. So yeah.
It's great. And so, like, there are so many examples, and I would love that if you guys have any examples of something in your life that you don't think was designed really for folks with disabilities, and you feel like you found kind of a secret assistive technology side of it, like, would absolutely love to hear that. If you want to email us at hello@rarewithflair.com, and we may feature your thoughts in future episodes.
We would love to know. We truly hope this topic kind of opened your mind, and we hope that when you're going throughout your day, if one of these things occurs, that you think of us or think about it, but also to be aware about it. Yeah, if other things that we didn't name happen, please tell us. We would love to add to the list. We would love to know. Give you a shout out.
You know, if nothing else, I hope that it kind of just got you thinking about accessibility and the really important role that things can play in our lives. And maybe you learned something about the curb cut effect.
Yes. Stay tuned for our year in review and our exciting goal setting for 2026. So excited. So you don't want to miss those episodes. Guys. Yeah. Cannot wait. But yeah, we will be seeing you in 2 weeks. Bye.